On Saturday, July 19th, the usual calm in several areas of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia was completely shattered. A series of intense, unexpected, and persistent storms struck the region, triggering a flash flood emergency that paralyzed entire neighborhoods and forced rescue teams to operate nonstop. The rain began falling relentlessly in the afternoon, and within minutes, streets turned into violent rivers capable of sweeping away vehicles and toppling trees. This was no ordinary rainfall. It was a deluge that caught even the most prepared off guard. Weather forecasts had warned of storms, but no one predicted the scale of what was coming. Between 3 and 5 inches of rain fell in a very short span, and estimates indicated that up to 4 more inches could accumulate if the weather didn't improve. The most alarming part was how fast everything happened. According to meteorological radar, rainfall rates reached up to 3 inches per hour, an extreme figure that quickly overwhelmed drainage systems. Montgomery County in Maryland was among the hardest hit areas. Urban zones closest to the District of Columbia, such as Silver Spring and Bethesda, were especially affected. In less than 30 minutes, water levels at Sligo Creek rose by 10 feet, a number that, by itself, illustrates the extraordinary nature of the event. What is usually a quiet and recreational area turned into a wild stream of muddy water and debris. Montgomery's emergency center received nearly 100 calls in just 2 hours. Requests for help came one after another. Trapped drivers, flooded basements, people unable to leave their homes. According to Pete Puringer, spokesperson for the county's fire department, this number of emergencies is what they normally respond to over an entire day. The system was pushed to its limit. The scenes were disturbing. Partially submerged cars, uprooted trees, streets turned into unpredictable waterways, and homes completely surrounded by water. In Chevy Chase and Tacoma Park, many families were trapped inside their own houses. Some residents were seen on rooftops, waiting to be rescued by firefighters or by neighbors who organized to help before official crews could arrive. In Silver Spring, a car was stranded in the middle of a flooded intersection. 2 women inside managed to escape thanks to the bravery of a passerby who jumped into the water without hesitation. One of them was pulled out directly by firefighters. Though these stories seem isolated, they happened dozens of times throughout the day. Every rescue was a race against time. In Northwest D.C., the situation wasn't any better. On Georgia Avenue, standing water reached an estimated depth of 2 feet, enough to completely halt traffic and damage ground-level businesses. The nation's capital, with all its resources, was also at the mercy of nature's unrestrained force. Authorities reminded the public of a crucial fact: just 6 inches of moving water can knock over an adult. With 12 inches, a vehicle loses all traction. Many ignore these numbers until it's too late. This time, the message was loud and clear. If you see water covering the road, do not attempt to cross. Further south in Virginia, the community of Dante faced a similarly critical situation the day before, on Friday, July 18th. There, between 3 and 7 inches of rain fell in a short period, causing severe flooding. 13 people were injured and 36 were evacuated overnight, according to official reports. Russell County immediately declared a state of emergency. In Dante, rescue teams worked through the night. The waters rose so quickly that many homes were completely flooded. Humanitarian aid was organized from the nearby town of St. Paul, where volunteers collected food, hygiene products, and bottled water. The town's public pool was also open so evacuees could bathe. Although by Saturday morning some residents were able to return to their homes, others found their houses filled with mud and water. In certain cases, the water reached depths of up to 4 feet. Authorities estimated that at least a dozen homes might qualify for state or federal assistance. Emergency teams continued assessing the damage. Dante is a small, unincorporated community with just under 600 residents. Despite its size, the magnitude of the event placed it at the center of attention in Southwest Virginia. State agencies such as the Conservation Police, the Virginia Department of Transportation, and the state police were deployed to support local efforts. Meanwhile, aerial images coming from the Washington region painted a devastating picture. Homes surrounded by water, fallen trees, and cars floating out of control. The National Weather Service classified the event as a top-level emergency, a label reserved only for the most extreme situations. The origin of such intense rainfall can be traced to a weather pattern that had been building since late June. A high-pressure system over the Atlantic had been pushing moisture from the Caribbean toward the east coast of the United States. The mountainous terrain, with steep slopes and narrow natural drainage channels, further intensified the accumulation of water in creeks and streams. The most dangerous part of these events isn't just the volume of rain, but the speed at which everything unfolds. Storms repeatedly passing over the same narrow corridor saturate the soil and clog drainage systems, causing floods that seem to come out of nowhere. One of the factors that made this event particularly tragic was the difficulty in predicting exactly when and where the worst impacts would occur. Even though radar could track the storms, the water rose faster than projections could keep up with. In many cases, warnings arrived just minutes before the situation became critical. The combination of aging infrastructure, densely populated urban areas, and intense rainfall created the perfect storm for disaster. And that's exactly what happened. From flooded parks to collapsed intersections, from modest family homes to public buildings, everything was at risk. But the threat isn't over. Weather conditions remain unstable, and more downpours could arrive in the coming days. Residents remain on alert, and emergency services continue monitoring high-risk areas. This event has been a sobering reminder that extreme weather can strike anywhere, even in the heart of one of the most developed regions in the country. The lessons are clear. Preparation, awareness, and swift response will be key to facing challenges that, inevitably, will happen again.
Cash out, cash out.